Welcome everyone. Today we'll talk about the fiscal policies and the school governance in this video. So what do we understand with fiscal policy? It's all about creating a probably direction of the flow of money. Now, how does the revenue come in and what is the expenses that goes around it? How does the school governance happens to manage the fiscal policy thereby? So essentially, when I see the flow of money, it's all about revenue, that money coming in, expenditures of money going out, the flow of money. So changes in government spending, taxes, borrowing influences economic activity. And believe me or not, it is not the economic activity of the school that gets influenced. Every entity, every business entity has an impact. So that is what fiscal policies are all about. It the fiscal policies of the federal government aims to achieve a key economic goals like full employment, stable prices, and overall growth of the society. So how does it work? The government adjusts spending and tax in such a way that it is going to be it is going to for the principle of equity among every stakeholders, among the whole community, probably the whole society. So basically we are trying to have a revenue system and an expenditure system which balances the odds out absolutely. So we are spending, we are taxing. Probably there's a taxes on the richer people more, and probably that has been spent or the expenditure happens into such social programs so that there are people who have been uplifted from poverty level. Expansionary policies during the recession, government increases spending, taxes to boost demand and probably stimulate the economy as the case might be, and that is very true. Why? Because if the economy is contracting, if there are deflation, if things are not moving out, what happens? The government is going to spend more so that it is invigorating the economy with the money, with the expenditure that goes around it, and ensuring that economic activities kickstarts on their own. Contractionary policies is what happen when everything goes good, everything goes good, and this at this point of time it's like your parents and a child. When the child is growing up, the parents absolutely leave their hands and gives the free hands for the child to grow up all together, and that is what we are looking forward to. But in cases when the child is young, the parents take good care of the child, ensure that the child is on the right path. Similarly, in the contractionary policies, when everything of the economy is doing good, government decreases the spending to cool down the economy and control inflation thereby. So, types the expansionary injects demands in the economy, as in higher spending and lower taxes. Contractionally, wherein we restrict demand, less in low spending and probably higher taxes, as simple as it is. Benefits: it can help us to establish a stable economy, a stable society at the last thing. Consideration: effectiveness can be limited by a various number of factors, can lead to increased national debts if not managed fully. That means why national debts? When we start spending more than what we are producing, probably we are pulling in debts, and that is what needs to be done. So credit growth is uh, mm, not encouraged at all. So impact of these policies is the main macroeconomic variable. Next two slides, please watch it very clearly, or I would request all of you to revisit this video time and again. See what is happening with the contractionary economy. Economy is doing good, and the government lessen the expenditures or increases the tax. What is it with? We are talking about lowering the demand. So what is my demand out here? The price point is out here. The real output is out here. We are trying to lower the demand. Now, and how do I do it? We are increasing the taxes. We are lowering government expenses. But in the expansionary economy, when things are not going good for the economy, then what does the uh, government do? It increases expenditure. It lowers taxes. It is making supplying money into the economy in one pretext or the other pretext. So what are we looking into it? We are just doing nothing but probably pushing the bar up so that there are more production, so that there are more price profit. There is a more output, as the case might be. So in contraction economy, we are pulling down the outputs. In the expansion economy, we are ensuring that there are more outputs, more GDPs, gross domestic product that has been created. Now, let me give it to you one by one. As far as contractionary economy is concerned, the economic growth is negative. Inflation is decelerating. Unemployment is rising. Trade deficit is decreasing. Income equality is absolutely worsening. Budget deficit is decreasing. So is borrowing. But what happens with the expansionary economic? That means when economic growth is on a higher end, it is increasing. It There is an acceleration in inflation. I mean, the price of the goods are also increasing, and people are affording it. Unemployment is falling. Why? And that's the reason why you have discretionary income in the pocket of the general public. Trade deficit is increasing. Income inequality is improving. Budget and deficit and borrowing is increasing. Now, this is what happens around here. Let me give you a desired outcome of fiscal policies as far as classical economic senses and Keynesian economic senses are going around it. Remember, in both of the fiscal policies of classical Keynesian economics, what are we trying to do is we are trying to increase productivity or increased demand, as the case might be. Look at when price level is being plotted on the y-axis and the production on the x-axis. What is happened at this point, P point? What is we are looking at the average demand that goes around it, which is what is been given around, right? At this point of P, what do? We have a kind of a break even out at this point of time when people are affording it. If you are increasing the demand, it people are not being able to manage, or probably they don't have enough money to purchase or avail the services. So how do we increase it around here? What the only effect can be done is, can we tweak the prices, can we lower the prices? The moment there is a lowering of the prices, the demand shoots up. See, the number of productions shoots up, or the number of consumption shoots up. This is what is classical economy. So you lower the demand of the price, and automatically the demand of the product will increases. Something similar has been made even in Keynesian policies, as the case might be. Here also we're reducing the prices. But what is happening out here? Remember, at this point, there is something called supply where people are okay with the product. People are okay with the product, but at one point of the time they are good. But as with the lowering of the prices, the average supply increases. Now, this is what we need to understand. Now, there is an excess production that goes around, excess demand that comes with the Keynesian policies, one and the same way. So, why should we care? And what is the importance of fiscal policy? Allow me to discuss it, which it impacts everyday life. Definitely, yes. It impacts in terms of employment, in terms of inflation, economic growth. What are we talking about? We are talking about our jobs, our purchasing power, our overall well-being per se. Allocates the economy or shapes the economy, as the case might be. Second point, government spending and taxes influences how resources have been allocated, shaping industries, infrastructures, and social programs. Ma- Third point, manages the economic challenges. Fiscal policy tools are used to combat recession, control inflation, and promote long-term economic stability. The fourth point is affecting future generation of us, of yours, probably futures of, let's say, my son and daughters, my grandson and daughters, my great grandsons and daughters. Future generation decision made today, spending and debts can have a lasting consequences over the future generation, whether they will inherit the debt or whether they will inherit an affluent society. Shapes our vision through policies, choices. Government reflect societal priorities, issues like healthcare, education, and social safety nets. Now let us focus on the education policies, right? That is what we were talking about it. So what is the education systems happening in the public priority? Education rank high among the voters concerned, with strong oppositions to cut budget balancing. The correlation is very, very true. Better quality students means better quality of productivity. Better quality of productivity means good quality of life. So higher per pupil spending is linked to a better student outcome. Resource impact funding affects key resources like childhood programs, like special education programs, like the class sizes. and the support personnel. Look at the class sizes of a underdeveloped economy. It has children which are stuffed more than 60, 70, 80% per classes. And look at what is happening in the developed economy. Then class sizes is approximately 20. And I'm talking about primary level education, 20 students, the basic education that goes around it per classes. So see the resource impacted. Long-term benefits, quality education sets up a student life for a successful and satisfied life altogether. I've already said quality education means quality students means quality production, or quality production means quality economy means quality life. Policy rules, proper funding, and fiscal policies are crucial for ensuring success, as the case might be. Two levels of education funding. One is the provincial government level, and the other one is the federal government level, as the case might be. So, state and local funding are critical. They provide nearly 90% of standard K to 12 funding. The early stages of education, the school education, are the largest sources of public revenue for higher education. Community colleges, this is after K-12 group, after the O level, A level groups studying. When you're talking about graduate programs, now 29% of the income comes from the state as compared to 17% from the federal government. Remember, K-12 lacks tuition revenue. Unlike universities, college, this relies solely on funding from the government, be it provincial, be it federal. Fiscal policy affects all level of education. Prioritizing education is crucial to prevent program cuts and ensuring educational access. The impact of spending on educational outcomes. What are we looking out here? We are talking about researches on positive correlations between the spending on the education and the quality of life that the student lead or the society improves or not. That is what we are talking about outcome. Discuss how adequate funding can negatively impact students, especially those from the disadvantaged background. Here are some key challenges of education function. Funding. One is insufficient local autonomy, is something which is very strict, something which is done with bureaucracy. Insufficient local autonomy, lack of equalization in spending per student, over reliance on intergovernmental transfers, as the case might be. Over reliance, that is what we are looking into it. If we are depending everything on the government to do, if the government is going to kickstart the program, ensure the program is moving on, then what are you going to do it? It has to be a win-win category, win-win strategy for everyone, between the government and the community, between the community and the society. So, my recommendations to you, the solutions of such problems can be done with increased overall spending on education, invest more on early childhood education, because once the students are shaped up, groomed, properly informed, properly educated, they will pursue further educations. Improve efficiency and resource allocation, strengthen the local economy, as the case might be, as on when on basis. Let us go to the efficiency and equity of investing early in education. Remember, the earlier that we invest in the childhood, the rate of return, what happens? It is possibly low, but when we are going for higher increasing, it is improving. But what is happening out here? The well of children's, if you look into it, the more early, if we invest it early, it improves as a part of a thing with the training ages. So we have disadvantages children, because in the early childhood, people are coming from different backgrounds, different economic background. So people might not be there as far as rate of return might be looking into it. But as we go about, as we invest, as we work around here, and it probably helps us. The curve does not become like this. Probably, allow me to. The curve is like this, right? It is the curve is like this. But what do we want? We want the curve to be like this. What is it? If we are investing high, the rate of return is going to improve, and that is what should be the transactions of the well of children. This becomes the well of children. The well of children becomes lesser if there is an investment with the passage. If there are no investment, absolutely no investment, it goes down. But once we start investing, it starts improving, the rate of return improving, and so on and so forth. So increase in overall public spending, gradually expand to Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development standard that's associated with 5 to 6% of gross domestic product. Early childhood education, prioritize investment for disadvantaged students. Small, I again recommend small class schools, build more resource centers, expand support. Overcrowded urban schools, construct more infrastructure, new infrastructure, latest infrastructure, and also maintain the existing one. Low performing schools provide systemic support to improvement. Teacher salary, target increases to specific group, and support workload system transition as on when on basis per se. We're talking about efficiencies, performance monitoring absolutely to be done on the education system, on the schools, because then only you are trying to ensure quality, strengthening to ensure equity and quality objectives are met. Independent monitoring. Consider universities from NGOs, from different universities and international experts. Have a third-party audit system to look into it. What is it going on? How it is going on? Can it be improved? Network organization, consolidate in non-urban areas. When I say non-urban areas, plainly speaking, I want to talk about rural areas. Human resources increases local autonomy, addresses the staff cost system concerns as the case might be. Gradual system aligned budget increases with system capacity to the program perhaps. And probably to wind up this particular video, we need to understand giving autonomy is also important. Analyze the spheres of responsibility. Remember what the government can do and what the community can do. What the community can do and how it can impact the society. Decide what belongs to a school. Renounce and central authority. Relax norms slowly, steadily, but do relax. Starting with treating them with the minimum standards or as guidelines. Public consultation, identify most restrictive norms for initial relaxation. Increase flexibility, allow schools and local government more control over budgets. Mutual learning, monitor and support school leaders, offlining, address urban rural divide, and this is what the divide is comes around it. Implement mechanism to share the best practices and support struggling areas. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching the same.